So the equation I will be solving is 426 divided by 4. The 426 is our dividend and the 4 is our divisor. We will be trying to find our quotient or our answer. So to estimate this equation, I'm going to start by rounding the 426 down to a 400 because this is just a friendlier number to work with, especially with the 4. Because I know that 4 times 10 is 40 and 4 times 100 equals 400. So my estimated guess is going to be somewhere around 100. This number here, 4 flats, 2 rods, and 6 units, represents our dividend, so 426. And the 4 groups down here represents our divisor. So we are trying to divide this number equally into these 4 groups. So I will start with our hundreds. So I'm going to, up here at the top, I'm going to put how many hundreds that I put into each group. So I put 100 in each group. And down here, I'm going to put how much we used in total. So we use 100, 200, 300, 400. So this number that's left represents what we have left on our board. So we have 2 rods and 6 units, 26. So now I'll move on to the tens. So I know that these 2 rods won't divide equally among my 4 groups, so I'm going to have to exchange them for 21s. I know that because 1 rod equals 10, so 2 rods is going to equal 20. So how many 10s did we put into each group? Well, we didn't put any, so I'm going to represent with that with the 0. And how much we used in total? We didn't use any. So our number stays 26, and that is represented with our 1s now. So now I will divide the 1s up into the groups, and to speed up the process, I'm going to put 2 1s in each group. All right, so we're left with 2 1s, and we know that these won't divide anymore, so we're going to leave it at that. So now we're going to count how many units we have in each of our groups. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to put that 6 up here. And how much we used in total? Well, we used 24 units in total because we have 2 left over. So our answer, 26 minus 24, is going to be 2. And this 2 here represents our remainder, and 106 represents our answer. So, okay, now I'll show how I'll solve it pictorially. So right here we have 4 flats to represent our 400, 2 rods to represent our 2, and 6 units to represent our 6. So we're going to try to divide these equally into our 4 groups, just like we did with the concrete base 10 blocks. So I'll start with my hundreds, dividing these equally among our 4 groups. I'll then move to my rods, or my 10s, but I know that 2 won't divide equally into my 4 groups, so I'm going to have to exchange them for units. And I already know that 2 rods are going to equal 20 units. So that's 1 rod that we exchanged. And here's our other rod. So now left on the board we have 26 represented as our units or our 1s. So we are going to divide these into our groups equally. So I'm going to start by putting 2 into each group just to make the process a little bit quicker. So I can cross off 8 because I put 8 into our group. I'll put 2 more in each. Some units left over, so I'm going to add 2 more into the group. So now we're left with 2 1s or 2 units that won't divide equally into our groups. So this is going to represent our remainder. And I'm going to count how many I have in each group. So I have 1 flat, which equals 100. I have 0 rods, and I have 6 units. So our answer for this is 106 with a remainder of 2. For my personal strategy, I'm going to split my dividend, 426, into divisible chunks. So I'm going to represent this as this. 4 divided by, I'm going to split my hundreds up, my tens up, and my 1s up. So it looks like this. So I'm going to start going left to right. So starting with the 400, I know that if I split 400 equally into 4 groups, it would leave me with 100 in each group. I know this from my earlier estimate of going 4 times 10 equals 40 and 4 times 100 equals 400. So now I'm going to move on to my 20. So if 20 was split evenly into 4 groups, I know that that would leave me with 5 in each group, because 4 times 5 equals 20. So moving on to our 6. If I was trying to divide 6 equally into 4 groups, I know that it would leave me with 1 in each group, and I would have 2 remaining. So it could only go in once. And to show my remaining 2, I'll put that here. So what we're going to do to find our answer is we're going to add up the top. So 100 plus 5 plus 1 will give us 106, with the remainder of 2.